Yeah, good morning, everyone. So in this class, we are going to discuss about the basic project flow. Okay. And next thing is how to connect Python to DB. So far we have seen only to execute the SQLs from MySQL editor. It's like a workbench. So now today we are going to discuss like so how the project flow is going and how to connect database. How to connect database by using Python code. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, just concentrate on this one. We'll see first the basic project flow. So if you take any of the projects, okay, first I'm going to explain here. If you take any of the projects, there is a front-end application. There is a front-end application, and there is a back-end application. Okay, there's a back-end application. If we consider front-end, so it will come like there are web pages. So web pages designed by using HTML or CSS. So nowadays it's in Angular or React. This is called front-end applications. Okay, who is going to develop front-end applications? So we'll call it as front-end developer also sometimes. Okay, if we're coming to back-end, so it will come as a Python or Java. It's like middleware codes. Okay, Java by creating the APIs. Okay, by creating the APIs to connect with the front-end application. So here we will call it as back-end developers. So front-end developers and back-end developers. Okay, if we combine like if the people is working front-end as well as back-end, we'll call it as full stack developer. Okay, in this course we are going to learn here we are learning as a back-end developer. In this back-end developer, so if you want to achieve a project, if you want to complete your project, there should be two types of developers. One is front-end developer and one is back-end developer. And let's understand the project flow, how it is going. Okay. So now, first we have a front-end application. So you can consider this is a front-end application. So in front end, if you consider this is a web page, so in front end, so there is a registration form. There is a registration form, and we have a login also. Suppose, so I'm going to consider there are two. Okay. So one is for registration, and one is for login. Registration page. Can someone tell me in registration phase, so what are the details it is available? It's like a form. Okay, it's like normally it is a form. So here you can see like name is there, email, and create a password. Okay, So those kind of details, okay, that is called a registration phase. So finally, after giving a name, email, and password, so there is a submit button and cancel button. There is a cancel button. So what you will do in a normal scenario, suppose you can consider as a Facebook login. So what it will do, so you need to fill your details in a registration form. So after that, we are going to submit it. Okay, if you submit, what will happen? If you submit, what will happen? So
Will be registered.
yeah, will be
The
registered,
particular.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that you can see it in a front end, but in a back end. So how it is going to happen is, so we are going to see now. Okay. So here in a back end, there is a code we can consider as, here you are going to develop a Python code or Java code. Okay. Now we are learning as a Python. Okay. We are going to develop as a Python APIs or elegant program interface. So here it is a Python code. So this Python code we are going to write. This should get connected to. It should get connected to. So as soon as you submit a button, so that the details will get stored into database, right? So that's why we need a database here. So there is a DB. So that DB can be anything like MySQL or Oracle or whatever it is. But here we are going to consider as MySQL. Okay, fine. So first, just observe here. So this is the backend application. This is the backend application. This is a backend application. This is a backend application. And this one is a front-end application. So front-end application by using, we are going to create our HTML, CSS, or Angular, or whatever it is. First, we're going to write front-end application here. Okay, just you can observe. Just observe here. So you are going to log into Facebook. So here, after filling name, email, okay, name, email, and password. There is a spelling wrong. Okay, no issues. So after clicking a submit button, so the request will go to, this backend application. Okay, this backend application. So here the request is either it is in a JSON format or XML format. So how many of you know what is JSON and XML? Did anyone knows?
Yeah, it's a file format.
Yeah, it's like JavaScript object notation. Okay, I'll show you the sample. So how JSON looks like. Okay. So this one is very, very important, like JSON or XML. Okay, just understand the diagram. So there is a front-end application. So whenever just you click on a submit button, so the request will go to Python. So here in this Python, we are going to perform CRUD operations like create, insert, update, or delete. Okay. So whenever you click on a submit, so the row should get insert into our database. So that time it will perform insert operations. Just it will insert into a database. Okay. Insert part is clear. Now you want to, okay, after inserting, how you will get to know whether your account is created successfully? In home page, okay, after clicking a submit or sign up, so the message will pop up, right? Like your account is created successfully. So this will give, so after, if the SQL is execute successfully, if the SQL gets execute successfully, again, the response will come back to Python to your web page, so that the user can understand, okay, your account is created successfully. Otherwise, how we will get to know? So we are not sure whether our account is created successfully or not. So that's why request and response is mandatory. So here request, so what is the request we are sending? So name and email, okay, and phone number, whatever it is. So this is called a request. So now finally we'll get as a response. So each and every action, so there is a request and response. Okay, request and response. Okay, this is about registration. So now after registration is completed, you need to log in into your account. You need to log in. So you can consider as this is the login, username, and password. So you are going to click on login button. Just you are going to click on login button. So how the system will get to know whether username is identified in a database or not? Okay, we'll see now. Password, login, or cancel. So here, as soon as if you click on login button, again the request will go to Python API. So the request will go to Python. It will connect with the database, like by using select query. It will identify, select star from table name or select columns from table name. So whatever it is, whether it is a registration table or login table. Okay. So if the user is identified, again Again, this will give as a response, like whether row count or something. If the row is identified, the request will come back to the front end. So here we are going to write whether we need to go to another page or we need to display as username or password is wrong. Something will be like that. So this is a basic flow as well as this in overall main flow. So any questions here? So this is how actually it will work. So whatever the web page you can take, okay, this process is there in a backend. But what people will think, okay, I'm clicking on submit or insert button. So there is somewhere it is getting storing, okay, the details and all. But actual process is like this. So whenever you click on a submit, so there is an action behind of the application. Just a second, guys. Yeah, if you observe here, so the request and response is mandatory. So based on our request and response only, we will get to know if the operations or whatever the actions we performed, so it get executed successfully or not. But everything is going to store in a database. But it is not visible, but it is playing a very crucial role. It's like you can take any of the DBs, okay? You can take any of the DBs. Okay, here, what is
Sir,
JSON? And yes, tell me, Tim.
so it means like the password that we enter also it will be stored. Is
Yes,
it?
correct. Yes.
Then what about privacy, sir? Like normally.
Yeah, there is a security. There is a security concept. It's like, so they are going to encrypt. So it is not visible. So whatever you are going to type, suppose I'm going to type as a root. Root is my password, but it will be in
Okay.
while inserting into a database. So we are going to encrypt that. Okay. It's like that. Okay.
Okay.
So now no one can understand. So what is your password?
Okay. Okay.
This is what it is happening in a back. So there is encryption and
Okay.
description. So they are going to use some security cryptography concepts. Okay. Yes, this is a basic flow. So, okay. So if you see, okay, today onwards, if you are going to any of the application, okay, if you are going to see any of the application, you have to think like, okay, now I'm going to click on submit. Okay, what are the things it is happening in a backend, so that you can easily understand, like you will get to know. So what is the subject and so what are the things it is going on backend. That is how you have to imagine. If you take any website, any application, this is the flow. Okay, coming to JSON and XML. So you guys have to research on that, but this is a basic format. JavaScript object notation. So if you see this one, if you observe this one, okay. So there is a employee. First, we'll talk about XML. So in olden days, we are using in a XML format. So here this is a root tag. Inside the root tag, we have a child tags. Okay, these are the child tags. And here also you have to open, like open and close tag is mandatory for each and every variable. It's like if you consider this one, first name, this is a open tag and close tag. Again, open tag and close tag. So this is called XML. So this is a XML format, guys. Again, if you want to take another row or another value, so this is a field. Again, so employee is a open tag, and here it is a employee close tag. Inside this employee, again there is a sub branches like tree structure. Okay, first name and last name. So these are we need to write if you want to build your XML. And this one is a root tag again. First one is employees, and inside the employees we have a employee. But if you see this one, it's in a JSON format. It is in a JSON format. So this is called JSON. So this is a root tag. This is a root tag. It's like here there is no tag setup, but this is a root employees. Here we are going to write it in a list format. So these are list braces. Inside this list, we are going to write it in a map format. First name John. Okay, last name. This is we are going to close it. So this is one record. After comma, again we are going to write. After comma, we are going to write another record. By comparing to this one, so this one we can easily build, and this is a lightweight process. If you want to process some data also, if you want to take any of the record or something, so this is very easy to transforming the data. So this is very easy compared to XML. Okay, so this is how it looks like. This is a JSON format and this is a XML format. But you guys have to study more, like, so this is the one. So it's almost done, but again you have to research how JSON looks like and how XML looks like. Okay, we are in a this one. It's an architecture diagram. So in this architecture diagram, it's okay. Forget about front-end application. So now we are connecting. We are working on Python. In this Python, we need to connect with the database. So how we are going to connect with the database? So that part we are going to see now. Okay. So if you want to connect with the MySQL workbench, the steps I'm going to. Okay. If you want to connect with MySQL workbench, so what are the things it is mandatory? So if you want to connect with the MySQL workbench, okay, the software should get installed into your machine. After that, you need to give username and password. Is it correct? So then only we can able to log in into your MySQL server. In the same way, in Python also, if you want to connect with the database, we need to provide username and password is mandatory. And what is the host? We are using here? The host we are using local host. Okay, so local host in the sense in a local system. So if it is a development server or QA server or production server, so that time the host will get changed. Okay, local host. Now we need to provide these details. If we provide these details, so how manually we are going to connect? First you can observe, so you can correlate it with this one, like how we are going to connect with the MySQL workbench. If you want to connect with MySQL workbench, after clicking this local instance, we need to provide username and password. The same way, if you want to connect with Python also, If you want to connect with Python also, we need to provide username and password and the server name. Okay, so if you observe this one, if you observe this code, okay, if you observe this code, so MySQL, we need to import, yeah, first one, we need to import the MySQL connector. After importing MySQL connector, so what is the use of this library? So it can have MySQL drivers. Drivers are code, okay, this is the inbuilt code. So what is the use of range command, sorry, a range function? So you are going to write some range, right? Like for I in range of 1,100 or something we are going to write, right? So here it is a inbuilt, it's like inbuilt function or inbuilt method. This can easily understand. So what we are going to write or type, okay, the same way. So here we have, if you want to connect with MySQL database, so you need to import mysql.connector. Okay, so this is a code like if you want to connect. So how we have connected with the MySQL editor? So first we have given username. So the host name is already there, and username and password. And if you want to use your database, I want to use different database. So what we are going to do, just we are going to type as use Python Batch-2. The same way here also we need to provide database. So this is a one-time setup. See, after logging into MySQL editor or workbench, we are going to perform CRUD operations like select, insert, update, or delete. Here also same. So this is a one time we need to write, or it will execute at a one time only. This is how it will get connect internally with the database. So after connecting to a database, okay, after connecting, so what we are doing? So there is a cursor, okay, MyDB. So in this MyDB have this entire functionality, this entire thing. So whatever we are going to perform here, so this can have all these things in a backend. Okay. So this is a predefined method, mydb.cursor. Okay. So just we are going to assign it to one variable. So here my cursor dot execute. So execute in the sense like to run this SQL query. So whatever the SQL query, if you want to execute, just write it here. Or if you want to write this SQL in a separately also, you can write it. So just what you can do is SQL equal to in a double quote. You can keep like this, and that SQL you are going to place it here. Okay, this is how we can write, but this is a mandatory thing. Okay, if you want to connect with your database, we need to provide host, username, password, and database details here. After this, we are going to write it. Okay, so this is the basic things we need to follow, but in a first step. So I'm going to write it as a steps here, the steps if you want to follow. So first we need to import a package. So in order to import a package, we need to do pip install. So what is pip here? Can someone tell me? So did anyone install or imported any packages earlier? Yes or no? in previous
Anna.
classes. Okay. Okay, fine. If you want to import, or if you want to add a libraries, we are going to use pip install command, pip install MySQL connector. Okay. So MySQL connector. So what is the connector names? So the exact connector name is, okay, this one. So MySQL connector Python. Okay. Then we are going to build a, or we are going to write code. After writing the code, first we need to connect with the database. Connect with database. Then we need to write, if the connection is successful, write SQL and execute SQL. So these are the 4 steps. It is a mandatory. So this is also one time. So once we install or import a library, so that's it. So library for one time. One time only we will install this one. Connect with the DB. So depends on your application. So if it is in a single application, if we are going to perform all CRUD operations, so this is also one time only. Then we are going to write our SQLs and we are going to execute our SQLs. Okay. So pip install is already done in my system. Okay, I'm going to uninstall it. We will see. So what is going to happen? Will come from first step. Okay, terminal. Pip uninstall. So if you want to uninstall, if you don't want to see that library in your path or your library, just you can uninstall it. So okay, I have removed all the libraries. It's related to MySQL. Just I'm trying to execute this program. Just I'm trying to execute this program. Just observe here whether it will get execute or not. Okay. We are getting so many errors. We are getting so many errors because of we have removed this library or this package. Okay. So that library or package can contain predefined code to connect with the database. So how we have connected? By using MySQL Workbench. So this is an application. We did go to search and we have given username and password, and so that it can able to connect with the MySQL Workbench by using MySQL. But here it is not happening because of we have removed MySQL library. So that's why. So this is the first step. First step is pip install MySQL connector with the Python. So we are going to import. Okay. We are going to import this. Okay. So after installing, so just observe here. How many tables it is present. So yeah, here you can observe. So there is no students 2 table. Okay. I'm trying to execute this query. I'm trying to execute a Python program. So first, what it will do, it will connect with your database by using these connectors. Then after that, it will execute our SQL. So in that SQL, what we have written, create table student2 and address. and my cursor dot execute. Okay, just try to execute this one. Just try to execute this one. Okay, it is executed successfully. Now we can go to database. Just try to run this one. See, student2 table got created. We are not using to execute SQL workbench, but how it is getting created means, okay, we have used Python code. So this is what it is happening from Python code. From Python code, it is trying to connect with the database by using connectors, and after that, whatever the SQL we have written, so that is going to execute here. So this is what it is happening. Okay, let's perform rest of the actions, like how we are going to insert a table. Okay, insert and update or delete. So no need to bother about code and all. You will get it in a Google. But try to understand the concept. First, what we need to do, we need to install MySQL drivers. After that, we need to import a package. Then this is the code. The same way how we are going to connect with MySQL editor, username and password and database and host. This query you already know. So what you need to perform. Then the extra lines is only this one. Okay. So my cursor, like cursor is the method. By using cursor method, we are going to just creating the variable, and that variable just we are using again. We are using execute method to executing our SQL. This is what it is happening. So you can go to Google and type. So we have a lot of website. W3 source is there, and W3 schools are there. W3 schools DB connection. Just click on this one. So it is related to PHP, not PHP. Just click on Python. After clicking this one, just come down. So here you can see Python, MySQL. So if you want to create a table, so create a table. So that part it is already done. So if you want to insert, so what are the things they are following? So just go here. So if you don't have installed what to say, like MySQL, so just go here and try to run an example. So after running this one, so here you can see one row is inserted successfully. So this is the code. We need to take it up. So if you know how to write for one program or one operation, so then it is same for all the operation, but only the change is only SQL. Okay, now this is the insertion part. So what is the table? The table name is we have created as student2. So just observe here. I'm going to display student2. Select star from student2. So far there there is no data in this table. Okay, now you already know. So we have installed MySQL connectors. So that's why we are going to import that package. It will take that connections. Then after that, so this is the connection part, MyDB connection part. So here we are going to write. So you can write it in a single query itself, but if you want to do multiple values. So that is the reason. So we have used values and percentage s here, percentages. So this is the SQL and this is the value. And here we are going to execute our SQL first and after that values. And you know already commit, because commit is nothing but it's like save the data permanently. And here if you observe, so what is my cursor, right? So my cursor here. So my cursor, after that, if you give dot here, my cursor dot, so it's not coming. So it will show some pop-ups. It will show some suggestions also. Okay. So what are the predefined functionalities, like predefined the methods? What are the predefined methods it is available for? Or this, okay. We need to, I think I need to import some extensions here. I'll show you tomorrow. So you'll get to know. So what are the methods it is available? It's like here you are going to see, right? Cursor or commit. So if you observe string, so after giving a string, str something like this is auto imports or pop-ups will come. I'll show you later. So I think I need to install, we need to get it some extensions here. Okay, that's fine. So here, so after connecting into a database, so what we are going to do here, just we need to write one SQL here. After writing an SQL, so what are the values? What are the values we need to write it? So these values will come from a front end normally. Okay, these values will come from front end. It's like username or password. But here we don't have any front end, so that's why we have hard coded here, and try to execute this one. Just give right click and run Python file in a terminal. See here, one row is inserted. Now we can go to students table and just try to execute here. See here, John Highway 20. Okay, again I want to execute this one. Just try to execute. Now there are two rows. So instead of going to execute the same query or same program in a multiple times, so if you want to insert multiple rows at the same time, okay, multiple rows at the same time. So what are the changes we need to make? What are the changes? So this is a change. We are going to write it here. So here I'm going to keep it as a values as in a list format. So these are the values. You should get insert into my database. First, if you are trying to execute this program, it will try to execute this code and it will connect with the database. Then this is the SQL we have written. First, it will execute your SQL. After that, values. So run Python file in a terminal. Just try to execute this one. It's not working. Okay. Yeah, there is an issue with this forms. Okay, Python type tuple cannot be converted. Okay. Yeah. Here if you observe this one, so if you want to execute only one function, I mean one row, so we are using execute. So here we need to use execute many SQL comma value. Okay, I'm going to comment out this one. Run Python file in a terminal. See now, 13 records inserted. 13 records inserted. Just go to MySQL editor or workbench. See here, now we can see all the rows, whatever the rows which we have inserted from Python code. So the same rows, it is inserted here. So in order to fetch all the rows, from Python code, so what are the changes we need to make? Okay, just take this SQL. Okay, just take this SQL. Now you guys can tell me. I'm going to select DB. Okay, or select table. Select dot py. So this part is clear. Okay, if you want to perform any operations, so this is common, and this is also common. Here, this SQL only we need to change it. This SQL we need to change it. So what is the SQL? If you want to fetch the rows from a table,
Select star from
yeah,
the table
sorry,
name.
yeah, select star from table name. But here we need to use the column names. Okay, name and address over here. Select a name comma, select name comma address, name comma address from student to table. Okay, fine. So here, is this values are required? No, because we are performing select operation. Okay, no need to execute many also here. So this code also not required. So now, if I execute this one, so all the rows will come and sit into this result,
My cursor.
my cursor. Okay, I'm going to keep it as a result here. Sorry, caps right result. So now if I execute this one, see the program is executed successfully, but I'm not able to see any values. Why? Because the values are going to store it into a result, but we didn't use any print statement. If you want to see the values, we need to use print. But what is a print type? Like, sorry, not what is the result type. So result, it will come as a list. So in order to print list of values, how we are going to print?
For loop.
Yes, for in result, print I. Non-type object is not iteratable. Okay. So it's a object type. It's not this one, I think. Okay, correct. So after executing this one, so we need to use, if you want to fetch the result, so we need to use fetch all. We need to use fetch all. So here, after executing this one, okay, even if it is a result also fine. The same way, after executing this one, result equal to my cursor dot fetch all. So this is the method. So after executing the SQL, it will fetch all the results and put it into a result. Let's try to execute this one. See here. Now we can see all the rows in a console. Now we can see all the rows in console. So these same values, so whatever the results we are returning here, these same values will, we are going to send it into front end so that they are going to see in web page. Suppose you can consider as a mini statement for your net banking. So how it is working. So what you will do, so just you will give your account number and you will select start date and end date. So that will come into Python. So in this Python, they are going to connect with their corresponding database. So here they have written the query like select star from table. In that where class, so they have given the dates like start date and end date. After that, after executing the query, so we'll get this type of results. The same results will get displayed in a front end screen. So this is how it will work. So this is how we can connect with database by using Python. So here, if you want to practice, so there are a lot of things. So like where and order by and delete and all. So that is also simple only. So if you want to order by, so just we are going to change only this query, order by name. That's it. No need to, change. No need to consider about these things and all. Like no need to change the extra lines of code. Yeah, sorry guys. So there is some disturbance in outside, so that's why I kept it in a mute. Okay. So this is how we can connect with the database by using Python code. So what is the first step we need to do? So we need to do pip install. After that, we are going to perform CRUD operations. So that's it. So that's very simple, but you have to practice. So if you practice, then only you will get to know. So for practicing and all, you can take this website like W3 schools. So how to start and how to delete and all. And there is one more important thing. So yesterday I forgot to inform. So we have, if you want to, in order to practice Python code, so we have a hacker rank, as well as Code Academy. So you can register with hacker ranks. You can register with hacker rank and you can see, you can try to solve the challenges like see hello world with Python. So you know how to write hello world. Just you need to write print and hello world. You can try to sign up. So you can consider as a project workflow, like so the project architecture. See, if you observe this one, what are the details it is available? Sign up, first name, email, and password. So as soon as if you fill these details, so this button is enabled. If you click this one, what will happen? What will happen? So it will go to
The
Python API.
request will go to Python.
Yes, request will go to Python API. Then the details will get stored into database. Correct. So you have to think like that. So then only you will learn the subject. So in earlier, so before this class, so what you are thinking? So I'm giving some details. You don't know where it is going at all. But now you guys are clear how the project or how the web pages will work. Okay, how the web pages will work. And if you want to trying to log in, so the same thing, username and password. As soon as if you click on login, it will go to Python API and it will check the based on select statement. If the row is found, okay, then it will show like, okay, either it will go to next page or the user is found like successfully or something like that. If you have given any username and password wrongly, if it is not found in a database, then we are not able to log in into, or we are not able to proceed for further actions. But in order to practice Python programs, so everyone today, okay, create an account into HackerRank and try to solve the problems as soon as much you want. Okay, like daily 5, 4, 1, at least one or two. Okay, here you can see like Python basics and advanced and intermediate. First try to solve all basic problems. So here also it is there, easy, medium, hard, and all. Okay, so here you can increase your analytical skills. Okay, here also they will post, see, there is one problem, there are many solutions, like okay, if you want to print something, if you want to operate, if you want to create a calculator, so in my own way, so I have written some code, and in your own way you have written something. So here you can see there are a lot of solutions here. So this is the website, okay, HackerRank. Just try to go to open Google, just type HackerRank Python, that's it. HackerRank Python.
Sure,
One is
sir.
tracking. So you guys understand how to connect with the database by using Python, right? So this is very simple. I will try to share all the code as well as recordings too. You can practice these things. So any questions here?